the lap dovetail, which is this one. So I'm going to do the same process again. I'm going to cut along here, then down at that angle, and then I'm going to then slit the halving, and then I'm going to cut these shoulders. But before I do that, also, I've just realised I've not marked that shoulder there, so I'm going to mark that shoulder. This is the same example that I used on here. So I'm just going to cut that shoulder, or knife that shoulder, just like I've done here, so my saw can sit into. So I'm going to do that prior to cutting it. Right, so it's going to go there. I'm going to start cutting down my dovetails now. Okay, so cutting down there and there. This time I'm going to use my tenon saw. Just for a change, away from the dovetail saw. That's a fine dovetail. I'm going to come back again when I do this one, which is dovetail housing. But I'm going to use this one, the general tenon saw. Right, so waist side of the line, so 1, 2, 3. So I've cut along here, my dovetail shape, as you can see, just there and there. And then I've cut down, and now I'm going to cut round my shoulders. I'm then going to use my fine dovetail saw again to do that on the shoulders. Okay, and then I'm going to neaten up the sides of that actually, once I've done. Okay, so that's the next thing. So there's a cross cut saw. Okay. Yeah. So 1, 2. Fine, the saw I mean, it won't go as far as there. So I'm going to have to bring back my tenon saw, yeah, because there's enough there, isn't it? Just to get that a little bit, yeah, taken off there. So far I've just cut off the waist side of the dovetail. I'm going to neaten up this with my 25mm chisel just to get in there nice and crisp before I mark it onto this piece. So this is what I'm going to do next, just neaten up the crispness, clean up the side of that because it's a bit bumpy because obviously I've used a tenon saw, yeah? So I'm going to put a piece of timber along it just to make sure this is not as bumpy, just nice and straight, and proceed. Right, yo. So I've just gone around with the chisel. Now I'm just going to go with the chisel here. I'm going to put a piece of wood like this, attach it to the side, lay it on that, let's say on that pen line, exactly, or as close as exactly as possible. Yeah, this is the guide. And I'm going to put it in here, in the vise. And then I'm just going to just neaten it up, really. So now I'm going to place the dovetail in position, this half lap dovetail where it needs to go here, and then I'm going to mark it and then cut it out. Now I've just noticed a little bit my shoulder needs some attention, so I'm just going to I'm doing, okay, is checking that it's square and all the bits are going to touch. Yes, the shoulder of the dovetail is going to touch. Obviously here, it was just a bit gappy, so that's what I'm tweaking about with. So what I'm going to do now, I need to put something underneath there. I'm going to use probably that. All right, and just check that for square there, just like you would. And then I can use my little knife again, that knife method, and just score that. Now this will be good because I'm scoring across the grain, whereas the other instance I was kind of like on the end grain, so it was quite more tricky. So I'll use my craft knife, go across the grain, making sure. Yeah, we need to go like that.
Okay.
So you can see it there, look. So I did have a gauge that I set up when I was doing the marking, so I've already got that. So what I need to do is just square down these lines, or that point there, and the same there, and the same there, and the same here.
What side is it?
Yeah, here. Up there, look.
Okay.
So I'm just going to gauge between there and there like that, because that's where that's going to come out. So this bit All of that really. All of this is coming out there, isn't it? So that's the next thing, is to cut that away. I'll put this in the vise. Get my crosscut saw. Now, and then 1, 2, 3. One, two. Go a bit down on that one. And then a nice relief cut in the middle. Okay, so that's taken care of that. And what I'm going to do is just chisel this out. So I want to use this one, probably just about get away with that one there. Yeah, that one there, and then use the bigger one to maybe get the other side. Like that. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to start chiseling this out now. So again, just taking it from the top, nice and lightly, tilting the chisel up. Like that. Take it up. So look, what I've done is see, like that.
Yeah, got it.
So can I, yeah, so I'm thinking, again, this using. Why I'm playing about with different chisels, because, or different chisel sizes, because when you want it so it overlaps, like when you're taking it away, you don't want, for example, no point me using this one, because the idea is when I finish the bottom of that dovetail hand wants to be as flat as possible. When you've got a smaller chisel, you're not going to really guarantee that it's going to be as flat as possible. With a wider chisel, even if I do use one this end and use one on that end, at least I know it's going to be reasonably 100% as flat as it can be. So that's why I'm using the wider one here. Instead of using this one, this is just, it would work, but I prefer to have the wider one just on this side. And I only can go so far anyway. So that's the idea. This is to keep the bottom of that, to get the bottom of that halving joint, dovetail halving, as flat as possible. So, and also, yeah, you see, it can only go so far, which is fine. And I'll just come back the other way with the other one. Now, I've got to do a bit more cutting, because I can see I've not cut down enough here. See this side. Yeah, a bit out there. The same. Yeah, that little bit. Have a little. what I'm doing, I'm just highlighting my gauge line because I didn't do that. Just to see where we are. So what I've done there, I've just used the map pencil to highlight the gauge line because I didn't have that highlighted. I need to do it so I can see where my finish line is going to be.
Yeah, but a good shot actually. That's good.
Again, I just need to highlight the line. So it looks like, again, it looks like I'm not cut down slightly in this there. So it's just that little bit really. Definitely here. That's that there. Right, so I've got a little bit of a gap there at the front. Where's that gap? The gap is there, right there, little daylight. So this means that here needs to be taken down a bit so that that gap disappears. Yeah, because it's important that gap disappears. Right, so now that is relatively flat in there without any gap where I've taken it down. So this is important. So where this comes together. So before I do that, I just want to have a feel. Right, so you see that there, look, there's a bit of a high spot here. And I know it's high because you see that line there, I need to take that off. That little gauge line is still hanging on there. Yeah, because it needs to, when I finish with it, it's going to sit flush. Okay, I could take little arises off of here, a little corner, as long as it's not too much, it's not going to be seen at the end here, so this is important because when this actually goes together, yeah, and that's going to be alright. So, case of this, offering that through, there. Let's see if that goes. Right, so I can see it's very tight, that one. Right, so as you can see that it needs something probably from the side of this. No use taking it off of there. I think this is nice and straight. It's just that little bit here, a little bit off the side, because it's not actually fit. There's not any sliding in. You want it just sliding in nice and snugly. Yeah, that's what we want. So, another check to see is whether this is square. Yeah, it should be. Look, and it is. There's a little bit of touch there. I say square meaning like that. Yeah. So I think it's a little bit of a... Okay, I'm just going to ease this off of here. So what I'm doing is easing the side of a dovetail so it can fit a bit more snugly where it's going to live. So I'm just going to just take the size a little bit. So I've not taken nothing over here, it's just the bottom half of it actually. Just there. And see if that helps the situation. And it does. So all I've got to do now is lovely, look at that. That's it. That one done. So, dovetail halving. So it's nice and flat. Yeah, no issues there. Nice and relatively tight there. Size, the bottom was really nice and flat. Spot on that one. Good. Back. The sides. Yes.